What's up?
Good afternoon, Journey Church.
Oh man, let's get this volume up here. We are live. We are actually live on YouTube and Facebook today. Look at that.
All you YouTube fans.
Yeah, we probably have like 6,000 subscribers up there.
Let us know where you're watching from.
250,000 maybe. So, yeah. So, anyways, we're excited today to chat about a variety of different topics.
Sir.
How's your day going, Jim?
You know, it's beautiful out, so it's a good day. Homework's a struggle today for my kids. I don't know if it's because the weather's so nice, but it's like noon, and I think they got one assignment done so far. So
yeah, Gretchen texted me. She's like, "I've had enough of this schoolwork and this dishwasher." Apparently, our new
Didn't
dishwasher.
you just put a new dishwasher in?
Yeah, it's not
no.
great. I don't know.
That's
it's different than our
miserable.
old one, so it's weird. Anyways, they're heading to the beach. I know shortly here, so that's cool.
Nice,
go.
Good for them.
Yeah, get out, get some fresh air. I'm stuck in the basement dwelling, but what can you do? So
COVID-19.
COVID-19. I got to ask you some questions though, Jim. Have you been watching, or have you watched any of the Last Dance documentary?
I knew you were gonna ask me. No, and I keep saying every time someone asks me, I need to watch it. I was a huge Bulls fan, Michael Jordan fan growing up, and I can't believe I haven't watched a single episode yet. But it's on my watch list.
Oof. If you're watching, chime in with some questions, some thoughts on that. We've watched episodes 1 through 6, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, went through, or maybe 7. We might have started at 7. I can't remember, but it's hard because I just want to binge watch all of them, but Jude wants to watch them, so he's been watching a lot of it with us. So I'm like, it's like all our schedules have to align for us to be able to watch it. But It's been interesting. It is, because like there's not a ton of Michael Jordan kind of talks out there and interviews.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been really neat to see a lot of that. And actually, like I've seen some pastors talking about this last kind of series that have come out, because he talks a lot about his leadership and how he led that team. And it's been real interesting to see Michael Jordan. And like, they're winning all these championships. And the interviewer like asks him kind of like, so was it worth it knowing that the way people perceived you through this? Because like all these players are like, Michael Jordan was an amazing leader, but the guy was a jerk. Like he was not nice. He wasn't kind. But
it's amazing how leaders get that rap.
Yeah, but he was laser focused. And so, and like the last episode that we watched, I don't know if he like heard a couple of the comments from the players that he played with, and just like their view on him. And he says, because he's like, I'll do anything to win, like anything. And he pushes guys. And he says, I push guys harder than they wanted to be pushed. And I pulled guys when they didn't want to be pulled. And I did all this stuff. And he's like, but at the end of the day, we were champions. And then he saw that. And then at the end of it, he just kind of like, I need a break. Like you could tell, like the emotion was like, I pushed people and it was hard. And no, I didn't make a lot of friends along the way. And so it's kind of interesting.
Just hearing you talk through it, it's almost like, I know we did this at church once. Going back to that, I said this, you heard that. He's definitely that type A, like red personality.
Yeah.
Just completely focused on goals, and people are what you use to accomplish your goals, not necessarily the focus of your goals.
And it's just so interesting, like to see the legacy that he left behind, and how, they're showing how he entered the league in like '84, I think.
Yep.
And how he, struggled and struggled and struggled. And then once they kind of broke through that ceiling, once they, got through the Celtics, and once they got through the Detroit Pistons, that they finally arrived. And then he won 3 straight titles. And then no one had really done, like none of the greats had won like 3 straight. And he was like, I'm done. I retired. There's no more challenge in this sport for me, basically. And like
Wow.
at that time, it was 93. He won that last one, so he was in the league 9 years. When he had felt like he reached the pinnacle, like this isn't competitive anymore. I've done it, and it's just crazy. Like you see all these guys,
crazy.
I don't know. It's just weird. And like we were talking, Gretchen and I, watching it, how you have, like Vince Carter, who's like been in the league, like, I don't know, dude's like in his mid 40s. He's been in there forever, and he's still going, But then you have Michael Jordan, who did what he did, conquered the game, and left. He came back, and it talks a lot about Tom. Well, it doesn't talk, but it speaks in my mind to Tom Brady, who it's like, you had the chance to go out on top, and now you're going for what? To be
you hear that, Tom? I know you're watching.
Right.
Go back to New England and retire.
The last few months. He's already done it. He's ruined it. Jeez. Anyways.
Yeah, I gotta watch it. That sounds great.
It's good. Some good stuff there. So
awesome.
But today we are talking about marriage.
Marriage is what brings us together today.
And you can't talk about marriage without seeing that clip.
It's so true.
I spent way too much time trying to figure out how to get that in here, but I did it.
I'm glad you did. I can't tell you how many times before starting a wedding I want to open with that line and talk and say it that way. Every time. I'm just waiting for a couple that gives me the permission.
Right. Like I've done many weddings, never done that. I've always wanted to. And I'll tell you a little known secret, or it's not really a secret. I've never seen that movie.
Are you kidding me?
Never seen it.
All right. Here you've got your afternoon planned, right? You're at work.
I'm at work.
Your wife's at the beach with the kids. You need to watch Princess Bride.
I don't know. I've started it before, and I feel like it's one of those movies that has been hyped up so much that there's no way that it will live up to what it really is. And I feel like I started and I'm like,
So there's a huge nostalgia factor, but if you can watch it through the mind of an 8-year-old kid for the first time, and the hard thing is you got to take away like today's effects because they're all practical. Right. But man, that movie, I watched that way too much as a kid.
It's good. It's good. So anyways, we're talking a little bit about marriage today. We're still in the works. We're trying to get a guest to join us. That's still kind of pending, but we're looking for someone who maybe has a little more experience speaking into marriage than James and I do, though we are happily married men.
It's true.
And
I have some experience.
But we've been looking through some articles, and I'm going to share a couple articles in the chat. Oh, where did that go? I'll have to put them in later. That's a bummer. I had them saved, and they're gone. Anyways, we got some good stuff, some articles that we've been reading kind of on how do you deal with, this whole pandemic and being stuck inside or being, quarantined to your house and sometimes living with your spouse. I know in my family, on a typical week, I am not in the house for 40 plus hours a week, just because I'm at my day job. And now I'm spending all of those minutes at home. Mm-hmm. And I, and as your home as well, it's kind of like completely disrupting the flow that my wife had established in our house. Gretchen's a stay-at-home mom, and she, has a schedule, and the kids abide by that. And when they're on a schedule, everything's really generally pretty good. And then once you get kids off that schedule, it just all hell breaks loose.
It's true. Schedules go out the window. Interruptions go both ways. I think it's hard for them that I'm here all the time.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's hard for me. You got work to do. There's constant interruptions. It's a challenge. Quarantine is a challenge.
It is. So I thought we'd go through a couple of points from one of these articles that I'll share later. I thought I had readily available, but I do not. And so, but the first one was is that you can be hard to live with. I think both of our spouses would agree to that. That it's easy for us to say, I'm home. Like, why shouldn't you be worried about that? Or why is that causing problems? And I think sometimes we'd have a little bit of self-examination in there and realize that we can be hard to deal with sometimes, right?
So here's the thing. My wife is not on watching this right now. She watches them later. Hold on. I'm in a meeting. Okay. I'm in a meeting. You need to go somewhere else right now. Talk about constant interruptions.
Right?
Uh,
I could
um,
change that to kids can be hard to live with sometimes.
I'm pretty sure she only did that because she knew you were on. And as
Aw.
much as she tells everyone she doesn't like you, I think she secretly likes you.
I love you,
so
Sophia.
Tanya doesn't watch these till later, so I can say whatever I want now, and I'll pay for it in a few hours. But
There you go.
I don't think I'm hard to live with, although my wife would say I'm exceptionally hard to live with.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, I say it that way because I think we all feel that way. We all think, no, I'm not hard. I have the set expectations, and I know what I want, and they know what I want. We're all hard to live with, and I think that's what we're realizing through this. It's tough. There are times it's a big challenge. There are other times it's not. I think some marriages are probably going to be better and strengthened through this as we work through this. But I think we're all fooling ourselves if we would say this didn't offer a layer of complication. No matter how good your marriage is, there's definitely some complications here. Little things that didn't annoy you before are going to annoy you now because, like you said, Brian, you see them every day, all day.
Yeah.
And you tend to get more tired when you're with each other and with the kids every day, all day. And, your patience runs thin. It's easy. Little things begin to set you off. So
Yeah.
I think that's something both parties in the marriage, and I say marriage, in any relationship, you're difficult to live with. I think admit that, realize that. And here's the key. Offer some grace.
Right?
Like, realize I may be being a jerk right now. That's okay. And forgive me.
It brings me to this next one, that you don't like mean people either. And I think, when you think about that, we don't like mean people. And when we don't realize that when we start to get, stressed out, or we start to get tired, or we start to just have a long day, and other people kind of snap back at us, it's because they don't like mean people either. And
So
so
true.
I think we need to show grace at times and to say, hey, like, I'd probably act the same way in response to the way I'm acting right now. And sometimes the best thing we can do, we tell this to our son a lot, is like, when you're frustrated, sometimes you just got to go and put yourself in your room or step away, take some deep breaths.
Go for
and
a
do
walk.
things.
God, some fresh air.
Yeah.
Helps so much.
Get out of the house.
Sometimes you just need to get out of your head. I think you're in it for so long. You're in the house. You're in your problem, or this, whatever the situation is that's stressing you out. Getting some fresh air, exercising. I know there's some people who follow this that love to go for runs. Man, there's something about that allows you to kind of recenter and refocus your thoughts. That is I think so helpful to any relationship. We kind of have this unspoken rule: if we get into something in our relationship, just kind of walk away, give each other some time. She might go for a run or go jog or beat up the punching bag, which is so much better than beating up on me.
It has your face on it, though, doesn't it?
It does. Face and shoulders. She knows right where to jab. No, take a break. Come back to it later with a clear thought. The article I just posted on the Facebook page, if you're following, I thought this was brilliant. Shanti Feldman, and we've read some of her books before. We've done some small group stuff with her material. She's a Harvard graduate, social researcher. She did this massive study, and I thought this was so telling. The most important thing in a marriage is kindness. That's what she discovered. It's not, relational compatibility. It's not communication, which I think most people would say. No, kindness. No matter what you're facing, if you can take a step out of it and be kind, it's funny how all this ties back to scripture, but isn't that what the Bible talks about? A kind word kind of deflates the situation. It removes wrath. And I think we need, especially during quarantine, a little more kindness.
Yeah.
Kindness in our marriages and our relationships. Kindness on social media. For all you social media people out there watching, be kind.
It's funny. Like, a practice I encourage many to partake in is I like to write out Facebook statuses or updates or whatever, and then I just delete them. I don't even post them. Sometimes
So
that feels
helpful.
good. And I'll tell you what, I'm way less snarky and sarcastic that way because I kind of get it out of my system and then I delete it because I'll be honest, no one has ever changed their mind based off of a Facebook comment from
So
somebody.
true.
If you have, congrats. You're one of the few, maybe, but we have all these, Facebook freedom fighters out there, and I just encourage you to just save it. Be kind.
Yeah,
And here's
totally
another
agree.
one. You're weird too. This
I
one
don't
I
know what
need
you're
to
talking
remind myself all the time, and my wife would probably say, "Yeah, everyone knows it." I'm a weird person. I'm a weird person to live with. Sometimes I'm down here working and then I go upstairs and I interact with Gretchen and the kids and I come down and I'm just like, man, I'm weird. Like, why did I think that was funny?
Tell me
Like,
your weird quirks.
huh?
Air your dirty laundry on social media, Ryan. What are your weird quirks?
I'll tell you a weird quirk that drives my kids absolutely nuts. Specifically Lucy is like, if she's upset about something, I don't know what it is within me, but it just I have to sing things. Like she'll be like, and I usually do it to specific songs, and so she'll be mad about something that Jude's doing, and she'll say like, Jude's just being mean, and then I'll respond like in the melody of R. Kelly's "I Believe I Could Fly," and I'll be like. I don't even know. I can't even do it right now. But
I want to
it's
hear
just,
it. The world is waiting.
I just respond and I'd be like, I can't even think what I'm on the spot right now. But I'll
That's fine.
respond like singing something back to her, and it just drives her nuts, which just stirs this innate need in me to continue doing it. And
Yeah,
it's
for
weird.
sure.
It's not kind.
It's like you found a button.
Oh yeah.
You just want to poke.
Just
Yeah. Yeah, I know exactly how you feel.
so.
Yeah, I got those. I do the singing thing, and I do more of the opera style with my
Yes.
kids, and I run around the house screaming their names. And it's funny, my youngest one, Juliana, thinks it's hysterical, and she'll sing with me. But
Yes.
Bella, who's older and now maybe a little more concerned about what people think about her and her dad, she
Yeah.
kind of rolls her eyes and like, you are weird.
That's so weird, Dad.
And I'm like the typical white guy with no rhythm, and we do dance parties, and I swear if somebody could record those, it would be the most awkward moment of video footage you'd ever see.
That's great.
It's weird.
I used to have this tradition. I still do it once in a while where like on Saturday mornings, usually I'm the last one to get up most days, and everyone will be out kind of in the living room watching a show or I don't know, sitting around eating breakfast, and I'll kind of sneak out of my room and I'll queue up a song on my phone and I'll just blast it and I just go dance in front of them, and it drives Lucy absolutely wild because she's like, I'm watching something I can't hear. She starts freaking out, and it's sometimes Jude will dance with me and Lennon.
That's awesome.
But we're weird people.
And I know we're focusing on the funny side of being weird.
Right.
I think what we're seeing through this is the bad side of being weird. Like oral hygiene. It's okay to live in your pajamas and not brush your hair or brush your teeth if you don't have meetings. And that's weird. And if you're concerned about that stuff and you don't see it, it feels weird. I tend to go overboard now that I have all this time. I love cooking, and I cook big meals almost every night. And my wife thinks it's weird. Like, why? It's just a waste of time. But they're annoying little weird habits. They begin to wear each other down. I think realize, yeah, I'm weird too. It's okay. We're all a little weird.
And, but we shouldn't stop showering.
No, and brushing teeth.
Shower.
Like, if you move your shower from like the morning to the afternoon or when you're done with work, that's one thing. But brush your teeth. I'm going to pick on my kids because they're not on social media, so you can't bully them anyway. They are like, this is an excuse to not practice brushing your hair, washing your face, brushing your teeth. Like, no. Those happen all the time. For every day for the rest of your life, you should do those three things.
Just do it.
Every day. Yep.
Yes. I think all of this kind of goes with this one. You can be not fun too.
I don't know what you're talking about. I am the definition of fun.
Right.
Yeah, I don't. That's my reputation at church. I'm the fun one. That's a nickname the church gave me.
Hold on. I gotta add this one. Lies.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. No, it's
so true though.
but I think sometimes we think that, and I think sometimes that I think I'm the fun one in the family, but in most cases, a lot of cases, Gretchen's the one that's the creator of fun in our family and gets games going and stuff. And I think sometimes it's easy for us to see somebody who's acting harshly or maybe dealing with the kids, and for on either side, for us to think, oh, they're not being fun. But there's often times when I'm the one that's the slug, or the person that's really making things not fun. So it's easy to point the finger at somebody else. But
so true.
Yeah.
I'd offer more there, but I don't know how to have fun. So
yeah, it's tough. So we also shared another article, which I can share. I can pop on the old internets here in the comments, but it's 13 easy stay-at-home dates. And so these are some ideas that you guys can have some fun with. There we go. They're different. Oh, there we go. There are different ideas that you can kind of share with your spouse. You can kind of do some date nights at home. Some things that maybe you would normally go out and do, but because you're stuck at home, maybe these are some fun ways that you can enjoy some time together. And there's some fun ones, some board games, have a dress-up night. I've seen this. My sister-in-law and brother-in-law, they had kind of like some themed nights where they had like a formal night, they had a Hawaiian night, a sports team. It was kind of cool. They did some games and stuff. But yeah.
So, what are some things you and Gretchen have done to, I guess, try to practice dating through this?
Put our kids to bed as early as humanly possible.
Yeah.
It's funny, like our kids, they love watching movies. They love having movie nights, and they'll do like a sleepover in Jude's room. And it's funny, like they think it's a treat for them to be able to have a movie night, and it is. And so we try not to do them every night, because you shouldn't let your kids watch movies every single night all day. But a lot of the time when we say, yeah, let's do a movie night tonight, guys, it's really for us. It's a time we can put the kids upstairs. Some nights it's at 7. We did one the other night. We started at like 6:30, and we let Lennon kind of partake in it, because she goes to bed at 7 usually. And so it was just a nice night for them to do their own thing. We'll usually kind of cook dinner a little later that night for me and Gretchen, and just watch a show. It's been something we've been doing. As it gets warmer outside, our front porch, we set up like a little we have a little love seat there and some lights up above, and it's just kind of a nice spot for us to sit. We get one of those fancy boards with cheese and meats. I call it a charcuterie board, or charcuterie board. Charcuterie.
Charcuterie. Someone's going to correct me on that, but that's as close as I can get to it.
Yeah, I call it a wood slab, and we put some meats on it, and get a little bottle of wine. I know this is a PG-rated show, and we'll just kind of sit there and listen to a podcast or talk or do whatever. But what about you?
That's great. So before this whole thing happened, we were probably 2 weeks away from booking our family vacation. And then this happened, and we kind of put everything on hold. So we've been planning a vacation, and we spend a lot of time kind of dreaming the ultimate vacation. Like if we had the resources, the time, no pandemic, where would we go?
Right.
And then kind of phased it back. Like, okay, that's the goal, but what can we handle this year in the midst of all this? And that's always fun. I love dreaming with my wife, like dreaming about what things we could reach. What's our goals, and talking about, vacations with the family, things we want to start implementing with the kids, and not like implementing discipline wise, but like so I think I may have even got this idea from you that when your kids turn a certain age, they get to pick a trip with their dad, wherever they want to
Yeah.
go, whatever they want to do. And I think I may have read it in a Bob Goff book, and I've loved that idea. And Bella's getting older and kind of talking through some of those scenarios to just to kind of foster that engagement and relationship. So dreaming, planning a vacation we've done. Movie nights, we love movie nights. We've done a few like movie nights in bed with a bottle of wine. That's nice. We've been binging a show on Apple TV, Defending Jacob, I think it's called. And that's always fun to be, engaged in the same show, talk about it, and then we find ourselves talking about it all day for the next week, what our theories are, and trying to unwrap. So some
cool.
things like that. Now that the weather's getting warmer, we love the fire pit, so I'm sure we'll start moving some of our dates outside. But in all honesty, and I don't know if anybody else feels this watching it, I've struggled like going through this. Most of our date nights were going out and picking up food and coming in, but that kind of stuff just isn't as easy anymore. So for a while, it was a struggle for us. I think we're trying to find our footing. I know people wouldn't count this as a date, but we love doing projects. So we're planning what projects we want to do this summer.
Yeah.
We're starting a garden, so we'll talk about gardening and whatever we can do to make sure our time, although we're with our kids all the time, isn't spent just talking about our kids all the time.
Right.
So that's been big for us.
That's important. We've been doing some of that home improvement stuff and figuring out, and it's fun kind of talking about some of those projects. We're supposed to be getting a new furnace soon, which is not something I want to spend money on, but it's kind of exciting to think about doing improvements like that and stuff out back and around the pool area and stuff. But
and I think just for the audience, if that's work to you, don't do it.
Yeah.
Like if the thought of having that discussion is like, that's going to weigh me down, that's not a date night. Date night should be fun and encouraging. We just happen to be the weird people that love to do projects. We line them up almost every winter. We create a list of things we want to do in the spring and summer. So this is fun. We love woodworking together. And so whatever you find enjoyment. I know one of the suggestions there is to play like a card game or a board game. My wife is not a board game player. That would be work to her. So we don't do it. I enjoy it. I do it with my kids, but that's not fun for her. What is an element of fun you can bring into your relationship in the midst of this? Get creative, have fun with it.
Yeah.
Put the kids to bed early, move from the PG to the adult rating, and have a good night.
And gets you kind of not talking about your kids, which I think is a good thing. And I think my kids, I've told them that like this is how much I love them, and like their mother is right there. I'm like, I'm sorry, but your mom is more important to me in our relationship, because if our relationship is as strong as it can be, and if we're at our best together as parents, then it's going to trickle down to them, and it's going to, make their life so much better than if they were the focus and I neglect, Gretchen and that, then it's just going to poorly reflect on them and impact their relationship. And so, it's funny when like Jude will refer to that every once in a while and almost like a joke and stuff, but I think he gets it, not in a bad way, and I think he appreciates that. So
I think they will. When my grandfather passed away, I stole this line from him. I remember he wasn't actually my grandfather. He was just somebody who kind of adopted as a grandfather. He was that close of a family friend.
Just some random old guy.
Yeah, some random old guy went to his funeral. No, I didn't have good luck with my grandfathers. My dad's dad died before I was born. My mom's dad was bedridden when I was born and died a few years later. So he was the closest thing I had to a grandfather. When he died, his son said, "I remember growing up, my dad always told me, I love Jesus, I love your mom, and then I love you."
Yeah.
And I've kind of stolen that line, and I tell that to my kids, and they'll get mad. You don't love me more?
Yeah.
Nope. Who do I love first? Mom. No, who do I love first? Well, you love Jesus, then mom.
Yeah.
And I don't want them to feel bad, but I want them to know there's a priority to the relationships in my life. And first, it is my Savior. Without him, I'm nothing. Then it's my wife. And we've often had those thoughts in our little dreaming sessions. In 20 years, when our youngest is hopefully out of college and married, what's our life like?
Yeah.
And I think for some people, if your life revolves around your kids, that's a really scary thought. For us, it's like, God, we can travel, we can build projects, we can go to bed at 6 and not worry about where the kids are. This is amazing.
Or go to bed at midnight and not have to wake up at the
Yeah.
butt crack of dawn.
Yep.
Yes.
We call it reverse engineering. Start at
There
the
you
end,
go.
start where you want to be, and then work your way back. If you
Yeah.
know the life you want to have when your kids are gone, what steps do you need to take now to help yourself get there? And start
Right.
working with that kind of vision in mind. And I think you'll end up with the marriage you want.
That's good.
But it's work. And I think that's something we all need to realize through this. Marriage is work, relationships are work. And it's easy to fall into a default of, figuring out your work priorities with your job and your kids' priorities with homeschooling and push this as an afterthought. And I think the whole point of this podcast is to encourage you. Don't let that happen.
Yeah.
Your marriage should be your priority. Build your marriage. I think one of your goals should be when you come out of this quarantine, to come out of it with a better relationship, not a relationship on the rocks.
Right. Because I think, I've noticed it is that when me and Gretchen are in stride and we're, doing really well and communicating well and, we're functioning at a high level as a married couple, or however you want to say it, that our relationships with our kids are better. I think our kids respond better. It's just, it helps the harmony in the whole house. I think a big part of that is just communicating. It's funny. Gretchen told me the other day, said that she was like, I've been a little annoyed with you the last day or so. And I'm like, it's funny. Like, you would think that hurts, but I was just like, I appreciate you telling me that. Like, what am I doing that annoys you? And so it's good to communicate.
Absolutely.
Because I think if I don't know, I can't fix it. And I know that I can be, that whole, I said this, you said that book, I'm a yellow first in that. And so I tend to be a little selfish. I tend to want to be in the spotlight, and I tend to kind of want to take over a room when I go in. Not to like control it, but to just be the center of it. It's just like my personality that way. And so sometimes that can be a little much in a situation, in a room. And so I can be a little annoying. And so it's good to be reminded of that every once in a while, especially by your spouse. And it helps, though.
I would say, as you're talking through it, I got thinking that's her honesty is, I think, what needs to be appreciated and commended there. I think sometimes we think our spouses are mind readers. And I know, women get the flack for this. Men can't read your mind. I think men are the same way. How often do we hold on to bitterness or something that's bothered us and not tell our wives and kind of get babyish? Well, they should just know. No, they shouldn't. It's our job to tell them. We're there. We should communicate. We should fill them in. And I think that's how we build better relationships. So props to your wife for having the courage to do that. I know that.
Exactly. She's a good one. That's for sure.
She is.
She'll watch this later on as well. So,
my number one employee.
Number one. She's a good little worker. So, as we begin to land this ship, I do want to encourage everybody. We're doing something tomorrow night where we are going to be hosting, or I'm going to be hosting, a family trivia night.
Yes, Friday, I actually can't wait for this. I'm actually getting on Facebook right now because Sheena, I've challenged you and I have not heard back yet. What's the bet? I'm confident. I don't know these questions. I don't know what Brian's preparing, but I'm going to be on and I'm going to get them all right. And I want to know what's on the line. So
I got to tell you,
I'm calling you out.
Oh, man.
What's the bet?
Sheena, he's coming for you. And I also want to throw a few other names in. I've seen, people have shared this around. I have some family in the Georgia area that are diehard Disney fans. That's our topic this week. And so they're going to be chiming in. My Gretchen's aunt from VZ goes to Disneyland like 6 times a year. She is a diehard Disney fanatic. So I'm hoping, I know Michelle Slike, a member of our church too, she is ready for this. I think she said some comment about like, I was made for this. I can't remember, but so she's psyched. It's going to be, this is a family trivia night though. So I want, I know the stakes are high. But it's going to be a good night.
My kids will be there, but I'm the one answering.
Yes.
Too much is on the line.
I'm sorry, Sophia. That answer is wrong.
That's right.
So I encourage you, check it out. It's going to be tomorrow, Friday night at 7 p.m. We're going to go live on Facebook. It's going to be fun. I'm going to try to make it as fun as possible. We did kind of a preliminary trivia like 2 weeks ago just to test it out, and it was pretty fun. But this one's going to be even harder. So I might put
ready.
There might be a couple fluff, questions in there for the kids, but I hope you've studied up on your Disney culture because it's going to be tough.
I'm ready. You just call me Walt. I'm in.
Little teaser. What was Mickey Mouse's original name before he was Mickey Mouse? Do you know?
Now you're making me feel like I gotta brush up.
Like before he was like
before
the main
he was
character.
Mickey. Alexa.
No cheating. What about you, Facebook world or YouTube? Does anybody know? Mickey, who was he before he was Mickey Mouse? Huh? Anybody know?
Silence on the airwaves.
Well, he wasn't even a mouse. He was actually a cartoon rabbit. He was like the original guy. His name was Oswald.
Oswald. I probably did know that. That sounds familiar now. But I wouldn't have got that right.
He looks like Mickey, except he has long, like, bunny ear type things.
So
anyways.
Is that the depth we're going with the trivia night?
I'm just saying. It's all on the table.
All right.
It's all on the table.
I'm studying tonight. I'm coming for you, Sheena.
I mean, one of the questions
Michelle.
could be, what is the fourth ride on the right side as you enter the Magic Kingdom? It's not going to be a question.
Now I'm gonna have maps pulled up, and we're gonna be ready to go.
Oh man, I'm getting reports of people saying that I might have been wrong, that it wasn't Mickey, or it wasn't Oswald. Maybe it's Mortimer.
Ugh. See, Brian can't even get it right, and he's the host. This is rigged. If I lose, it's rigged.
Mortimer, Mickey Mouse.
Man, Kim McNaughton shut me
No.
down. Look at this.
I think Mortimer was Mickey's foe. Yeah, he was a tall, glib, and arrogant. Mortimer had whiskers, much more pronounced snout.
Not Mickey?
Oh, wait. Maybe Mortimer Mouse was Disney's original name for the character before his wife Lillian convinced him to change it. Ultimately, Mickey Mouse came. Whatever. Oswald was the original character. That's who I was thinking of. That's not a real question on the test. They will be real, and they will be fact-checked ahead of time. So,
I'm ready.
Anyways, looking forward to it. Join us tomorrow night, 7 p.m. for family Disney trivia with Journey Church. And we're looking forward to it. All right, guys.
Thanks, Brian. Can't wait.
Take care, and we will see you next Thursday.
Sounds good.